take down Meteos too. He's at the edge of the Ring of Fire. And Europe again.
Captain needs some cooldown. Another one spawns up. The plants are ready to go. And LatAm gets the win. Might just drop first. They got her. But it's going to be a one-for-one trade. GPT's incredibly low. He's going to try to find the tongue lash for a last little bit of damage. But no, it's Nubia with the outplay. Nubia secures another win for LatAm. Stanley now under pressure from Icon. But Iris is killed immediately. Stanley still kiting it out. Beautifully done with the silver bolts. And Team Asia Pacific will eliminate Team China. Under Razzie Binks, Skara and Meteos nearly taking him down the turret. Snipes him around the corner. Empowered transfusion. I don't think Stanley's getting away with a death mark. The shuriken's over his head and it means he's dead. Another pool coming out. Brazil might turn it around. Skara's dead. Meteos in stasis. Jukes also still having Guardian Angel.
They did it!
That's gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. Your Fight Night Soul Fighter champions come from Brazil.
That was some footage from the Soul Fighter Fight Night. We are back. We have another Foldy sheet update.
Fold
We're just
rip.
actually
Hey! Stop!
Oh, wow, this tape is actually on here.
Overfold?
There we go.
just-
okay.
there we
Oh,
go.
that's what's
There we go.
got it.
Yeah, I just have to fold it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was the top half. I thought it was around. Scared me.
No.
What are we doing?
There we go. We're folding.
Okay, understandable.
Every year, Raz.
Understandable.
There we go.
All right.
We're now down to this in terms of scenarios. Ignore the sawed-off bottom too.
I was going to say, is that on there?
Oh, thank God. Well, I'm going to hit scenarios that I think is most interesting. And the first thing is Doomer scenario for 100 Thieves that puts them in 9th place, sole position in 9th place. Seems pretty realistic too. First things first, losing to NRG. Second thing is losing to Golden Guardians.
Okay.
And what seems unrealistic, but you know, whatever happens, happens. If FlyQuest decides to dominate in this one, that puts them in a position. Let's just update the record just a little bit here. Show this very clearly. 100 Thieves at 9th place.
Pog, not Pog. Wait, not Pog.
What
Depends
happens
who you
if
are.
100 Thieves wins a single game, Raz?
If they just win one game, they're fine. They're in.
100%.
100%. 100%. So that is positive. So
All right,
that's a
fill
pogger.
this out for me, Raz.
Okay, hit me.
100 Thieves wins.
All right, 100 Thieves wins.
Golden Guardians wins against Dig.
Okay, Golden Guardians wins versus Dignitas.
EG wins against TSM.
EG wins versus TSM.
Yeah, 100 Thieves wins against Golden Guardians.
Okay.
And TL winning against Dig.
TL winning versus Dig.
Means they're actually guaranteed top 6. Change those filters up top.
I got you.
This will guarantee their top 6.
I'm just going to do this quickly.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Perfect.
Yeah, 100% chance to lock in top 6. Obviously, because we haven't filled out the TSM games, it's going to be there. So
Yeah.
lose every game, maybe they don't make playoffs. Win every game, they get upper brackets. So lots still in play.
I shouldn't have done that. Anyways, I want to hear it from the casters, all right? Take it away.
What are you trying to do?
Welcome back to the LCS, everybody. I'm a 90s arcade beat-em-up character, and this is my buddy, the Uwu Kitty Cat. And we're going to be bringing you the next 3 games here today for Soul Fighter Day at the LCS. There's some nice ears, man.
Thanks, I get that a lot.
Yeah, I bet you do. The fact that you're able to weave them so effortlessly together with your headset
Yeah,
shows
it's
that-
really interesting, you know, just not a lot of hair here, but quite a bit here.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
genetics are a wild ride.
Strange how that works out.
Well, hey, you want to talk about a wild ride? Let's talk about 100 Thieves, man, because all they got to do, the desk just said it, win 1 game.
There
They're
you
going
go.
to playoffs.
You can
That's
do
it.
that. That's
Yeah.
not that hard.
Well,
Unfortunately, they're playing NRG and Golden Guardians.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I know you were there yesterday when we watched their game against Dignitas. They're not looking the cleanest right now. They really got a lot of stuff to shore up here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. A lot of the players, they're all joking about, you know, like, all right, I'll accept the PayPal now, you know, take the game and stuff. All the players are joking around about everyone needing other people to do work for them, right? FlyQuest, the only way that they can actually get in is if they not only win their last game tomorrow, if they complete the 3-0 weekend, but they also need help from teams like NRG. They need 100 Thieves to lose out as well. So a lot riding on these games. It's a big one here for 100 Thieves, who I think had pretty high expectations for their squad coming into the split. Obviously, there was the retirement of Bjergsen, and there were some changes here around this team. They brought back Ssumday, they were bringing in Quid, but I think people largely were thinking that was going to make them better. People were thinking that this was going to be a team on the up and up, but they have really seemed to struggle. And we'll see if they can kind of find their footing here against NRG.
Yeah, we got the Ivern, the Rel, and the Tristana banned out by the Thieves. NRG getting rid of LeBlanc and Maokai and Xayah. First pick, blue side is Kai'Sa. It's patch 13.13. Grass is green, sky's blue. What else is new? There's Kai'Sa.
The weird thing to me is that NRG banned Xayah, which has been the response that we've been seeing all the time here on the red side. So yeah, they banned out the traditional response. They gave over that Kai'Sa. It is going to be Palafox playing the Azir. We have not yet seen Quid play the Kai'Sa mid, I do believe. Yeah, he hasn't played that yet. He is mostly an Azir guy himself. He's played 6 times that Azir, so that will be a bit of a takeaway from Quid. Reverts.
Back to the dash version? I don't think you're ever getting that one back, buddy. That one was really strong. Well, we've got the Sejuani locked in beside the Azir. The first 2 pieces of NRG's comp are just about the most standard team fighting front-to-back stuff you could draft.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of drafting what you would expect 100 Thieves to draft, right? 100 Thieves usually does draft. Scaling, late game, 2 carries, that has been their MO throughout most of the split. NRG is generally more the team that is drafting additional threats, that is drafting more aggressive comps. So it is a little bit interesting. Palafox for MVP, and he's making a case for himself. I will say that these last couple of weeks, the guy has been on a tear. He won Player of the Week last week, so if he can have some really dominant games down the stretch, you never know. I definitely think at the very least he should be in the consideration, you know, for All-Pro.
And remember, just yesterday, it was Palafox on the LeBlanc getting sort of like the backdoor victory in what was an absolutely crazy game in order to lock in that win for him there. But okay, Rakan locked in for 100 Thieves alongside the Jayce. That'll be their last pick in the first half of this draft. Do NRG want to match support here? Because we've seen teams not be afraid to really target the engaged supports in the second half of the ban.
Yeah, and I'm just interested, what are you going to go for your AD, right? Because you know you're going to be generally going into pretty aggressive comps here. Generally, a lot of dive is paired beside that Kai'Sa. And Xayah, as I said, is that response you would normally want to go to on red side, but they banned it out themselves, so they are going to go to Aphelios. So is someone that can really be preyed on by that hard engage. It'll be interesting to see what the last 2 picks here are going to be for 100 Thieves. Well, 100 Thieves, I think, could easily be attacking some of those support pairings that would be good with this. I think Melia...
You put the whole pasta on there. Man's a chef. I love it.
I think you ban Melio here. I think you maybe ban Renata as well. I would be attacking some of those kind of enchanter pairings because I think those are best with the Aphelios and also really strong against what you are potentially going to be drafting here.
Right.
I mean, Renata just makes it so hard to dive.
Yeah, Renata's so good with that, just making everybody turn on one another as well, especially when you're looking at a mid lane AD champion because it makes them attack each other, those attacks. Yeah. We've seen some games before where allies die entirely to their own teammates' auto attacks in Renata's ulti. So that can be a real nightmare situation.
Unless you're Renata, then it's a dream.
Yeah, Renata's loving it. Nautilus banned out here from 100 Thieves. Okay. Like I was talking about, focusing some of that engage pool. Braum is another one that I feel like could potentially come up here just because there's some protection as well as some frontlining there.
And maybe they're not going for what I was talking about, but if 100 Thieves are not going to be banning out some of these enchanter pairings that I was talking about, and then they go full engage and it gets picked, I will be a little bit disappointed. Okay. But, you know, if they want to go for maybe more poke heavy, you can just go Jayce Kai'Sa and then draft, you know, less kind of hard commit style team and play poke. And then I think it's totally fine playing into Renata and whatnot. Renata struggles if you are not diving in onto her. So leaving that kind of stuff up would make a lot of sense in that case. Rumble going to get banned out. Renekton is still available here and has been a popular pick for a lot of different top laners. With the Rumble ban, I would not be surprised to just see Renekton coming through, but they could obviously save it for 5 as well.
I mean, I'll go so far as to say I would be surprised to not see Renekton be the pick for one of these two guys. Does NRG want to go ahead and lock that Alistar here? Yes, they do want to save final pick of the draft as that counter pick for the top lane for Dhokla. Now, 100 Thieves, do we take the Renekton here?
It's probably just Renekton Ssumday. I mean, that is by far the most common matchup, it feels like, in top lane in the LCS right now. Maybe someone wants to step outside of that. I mean, if you're going to save 5th pick for top, I don't want to see that matchup. Like, if he goes Ssumday, I would much rather see a Gwen or something. Right. Something where you can actually get a bit more of a 1v1 advantage. But Ssumday is so comfortable on this pick. He will go towards that Renekton, and that might just push Dhokla onto the Ssumday. But I am interested to see what the jungle pick is going to be here.
All right, 100 Thieves. Closer in particular, a lot of fans really coming down on Closer. And honestly, he's been deserving of a lot of criticism so far this split because his play has been nowhere near the levels we've seen it at in the past. So I think that this is a core element of what they need for this squad. The Viego locked in for Closer now. Little asterisk I got to put next to this because this is one of his all-time best champions. He's had some incredible performances on it before. Earlier this split, he had a game where he didn't even hit 1,000 damage on the Viego over the course of the entire game. So for Closer, we got to have a pop-off performance.
And I just want to see him get involved in one first blood. I mean, he has this game and one game tomorrow left in this split. I don't know if we've ever had a jungler in the LCS go an entire split without being involved in a single first blood. Someone is very excited about Ornn. Okay.
We got some Ornn fans.
I heard the scream and I was like, did we get Yasuo or like, what did we get?
Nope, we got the Ornn. And hey, when we had Dhokla on here previously, he was talking about how he's fine being an Ornn player these days. A reminder to everybody as we are in our final week of the regular season here in summer. Tickets are officially on sale for the LCS Championship in Newark, New Jersey on August 19th and 20th. You can head over to Ticketmaster.com right now to claim your spot and maybe even see an Ornn locked in the big arena.
What an experience.
The Ornn horn is even louder at a road show.
That's true. The bass on the bonk when he crafts his items. Chef's kiss.
It's something straight from a Skrillex
Beautiful.
concert. It's just the best thing you've ever heard in your life. But
now I want like a dubstep Ornn skin, you know?
Not until they build by Trucker one.
True,
That's got to come out first.
I apologize.
I'm telling you, Riot, you're leaving
First
money on the
first.
table.
They are. They are. No one knows how much, but I would buy that skin. So at least one has been sold.
My bet is a truckload of money. Get it? It's on theme for Trucker Ornn. But anyway, that Ornn, I think, could be a huge weapon for NRG here in this game, especially because of the fact that there's nothing on the other side to block it. Ornn's one of those champions that sometimes, you know, people would pick the Braum into it, pick Yasuo into it if he's not just total turbo garbage in the meta.
There's things to block it, but they probably shouldn't be blocking.
Yeah, yeah, you could throw
you can block it on a Kai'Sa.
Yeah, you could throw one of your guys in front of it if you want. Probably not the best idea. Roadkill is not the greatest asset in a team fight in League of Legends, but let's rock and roll. Let's do it. The stakes. If 100 Thieves win, they guarantee themselves a spot in playoffs. They will lock FlyQuest out, and we'll have our top 8 guaranteed. If NRG win, they lock themselves upper bracket, which is huge because it guarantees you get that second life if you lose the first series.
Yep. And if you're anything like me, you need those 2 lives.
I like having my extra life.
The first life is used to sprint it down.
Yeah, you just
find out what the boss does. You know?
It's the Elden Ring strategy.
You're not
just
going to read a guide.
You're like,
just run in.
What are you going to do, buddy?
You're like, okay, you're going to one-shot me. That was pretty good.
All right, I've learned that one for next time. But if you start off in lower bracket, there is no next time. You better hope he doesn't one-shot you. All right, NRG versus 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves looking to grab that win, lock that playoff spot, man. Such a big deal for this squad that, I mean, I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. I just got to own it at this point because it's on the internet, so people can always look up the VOD. I had these guys power ranked at number 3 beginning of the split. I know a lot of people had them in upper half just because, you know, Summer Split, Doublelift is one of those things. It's always been a meme in the past about how you can't ever avoid this guy. When you look at the names of like Closer and Ssumday, Quid coming in with hype from Korea, there were expectations here, man.
I mean, there's power rankings, they're going to be something to look back on. I think a lot of people got a lot of power rankings wrong, myself included. People thought FlyQuest was going to be at the top, TSM was going to be at the bottom, you know, 100 Thieves is going to be upper half. There's a lot of teams that I think, you know, for better or worse, defied expectations.
And, you know, because we gave Mark a hard time yesterday over his prediction griefing, I do got to give Mark credit because Mark was the one who, in those pre-split power rankings, had 100 Thieves around where they're at right now, sitting in 7th or 8th or something like that. So Mark Zimmerman with the 5-head prediction. Tri-lane view now. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. I mean, most of the waves still somewhere around the midpoint of the lane. And yeah, jungler's just going to go ahead.
Looks like we got some League of Legends here.
Yeah, we've got League of Legends. It's a very stock standard lane phase. This is the textbook cover for League of Legends.
Players appear to be killing the minions and farming gold from their corpses. That's kind of disgusting.
In isolated matchups in different parts of the map while waiting to grow their power and later participate in larger engagements.
Closer's mid lane. That's something new. Let's see.
Closer coming in, trying to get that first blood here. Palafox with a flash already, but the Spectral Maw goes down. One more hit will do it! He finally breaks the streak. It's first blood for Closer for the first time this summer.
Yeah, the first one he's been involved in all summer long. He makes it happen early on. 3 camps straight through bot. It just goes through bot river right towards mid. Palafox flashed very early. And generally when you are having those ganks come in, you have to wait until they're actually committing their stun, then flash the skill shot. In this case, he flashed early, does get punished for it. IgNar here trying to harass 100 Thieves as they were looking for a potential early base. Had to be a bit careful, know that their jungler is not here around. And we can watch this one more time. Palafox level 2, so it's just a really quick 3-camp clear straight in towards mid. So he doesn't even have his E, so that is why this is so difficult. And that was a really good hammer form knock there from Quid, knocks him right onto closer, making it much more difficult for him to save that flash because he was already in melee range of him. So he flashes out from there, but closer is there to follow. They get the kill, they get the first blood, and they get out.
Beautifully done from 100 Thieves mid and jungle there very early on, just 3 minutes into the game. Now Contractz walking up into the lane brush here. He knows Dhokla's got this wave pushing up, so even if you can't make a play to kill Ssumday, you can protect Dhokla as he tries to get this wave pushed up. Make sure that 100 Thieves don't bring closer up here and repeat what they did in mid.
Absolutely, and you know that it was a 3-camp clear from bot side for closer, so he would be going to his top side camps. He is now reverse clearing down towards bot. So it's actually going to be a double scuttle here for the Viego. So a really good start for closer. Gets 3 camps, goes mid, gets first blood, gets top scuttle, reverse clears down towards bot side, takes that scuttle too. So really great start here for 100 Thieves and for closer. And when Viego can be one of those champions that can really run away with the game, if you get ahead of the pace of the game, if you get ahead of the curve, you can get that first reset, which is sometimes all you need to really take over in a fight.
Yeah, the reset capability of this champion is absolutely nuts. We remember the Viego meta that was the entire first year of his release, where he would just completely terrorize the game once he got a kill or two. Now, the one nice thing here for NRG going up against Viego this game is they do have a pretty tanky lineup. It's not like Viego can just chain Heartbreakers from target to target, get a pentakill every fight if he wants. It's really the Aphelios and the Azir that are those valuable targets, as Sejuani and Ornn are going to be way too tanky to focus down later on, and Alistar's ulti kind of removes him as a viable option too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of protection for that backline, so it's going to have to be, really good engages, I think, from that 100 Thieves side. A lot of pressure, on flanks coming through from Ssumday, on Busio being able to find those angles. 100 Thieves was able to nearly come back in their game yesterday, after Ssumday had a really bad early laning phase against Rich, got solo killed, he was playing the Gwen, was able to scale up, and now Doublelift in trouble.
Yeah, Doublelift immediately having to cleanse flash just to get away from this one. IgNar and FBI now turning their attention back over to Busio. They root him up with a purple gun. One more auto attack comes out, but it ain't enough to kill him just yet. It's all 4 summoners out of the 100 Thieves bot lane, traded for 3 of them from that of NRG.
Yeah, that was really close. FBI flashed forward, and Doublelift just immediately cleanse flash, responds, gets out of there. I think that would have been actually a death for Busio had he not flashed in on Doublelift at the very end, because that proc is Gleaming Quill, because there's that charge up after he hits him with your Q, and that heal came through because he immediately flashed in on top of Doublelift. I'm not sure if he just didn't actually have the battle dance or if they didn't have the range quite right, because you could see Doublelift was stepping back towards Busio, which I thought was trying to give him a target to actually jump to with the E, but it didn't happen, so I'm not sure if it was on cooldown or if, they just weren't quite having that distance right. But either way, at the very least, they do survive. It is 4 summoners used, but 3 spent on the side of NRG. But it is IgNar still with that flash, so I would love to see them get back down towards bot lane, call Contractz down there, and try to make a play with that flash, because Doublelift with no cleanse, no flash should be easy pickings for this Alistar.
Yeah, exactly. It's Alistar, man. Flash Alistar engages are one of the oldest tricks in the book in League of Legends. Now, IgNar finding the headbutt to just knock Doublelift back away as he'll make his way back into lane here next to FBI, who does have the Noon Quiver completed. You can see the same thing in Doublelift's inventory. So pretty standard stuff between these two, just the Cull and Longsword with the difference in starts. Over in the jungle, Hearthbound Axe for closers, so a bit better of a first purchase for him compared to Contractz, who unfortunately was not able to get the bombies on the first purchase, which honestly slows down that clear a little bit.
Yeah, grabbed a couple rubies, but obviously in a fine spot. Didn't get the first blood himself, but is even as far as the camps are concerned. And he's going to be closing in on level 6 here. I want to see how close he is to 6. He's actually really close, so if he soaks a little bit of lane XP, would get 6, or he'll get it on his next camp. And then I do think head straight down towards bot, do the blue, look bot. You could even go for a lane gank here, having that flash advantage on your support, and try to make a play happen, because Q flash, headbutt backwards on Doublelift, that should be pretty much guaranteed when Contractz has flash and when Contractz has ulti. So I want to see if they're going to force it, and if they've actually tracked the fact that there was a pink ward in this river brush, because if he goes through river, I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, he'll walk right over top of the control ward, and yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. He sweeps, he walks into the brush, so at least they'll see that here, but Doublelift and Busio are far enough back, they won't be caught off guard, even from a flash Alistar engage. The range is too great, but it does mean that NRG, with control over the mid lane and having Contractz already down here in this river, are going to start up the first Drake for themselves. Closer, however, is level 6. That Heartbreaker is online. The reset potential is there.
Quid's coming.
Doublelift and Busio are ready to step up. Quid wants to make this a 4v4, but NRG's already got the Drake very low. Accelerated Shock Blast. It's the carries of NRG. 100 Thieves still looking for the engage there. Busio with a 2-man knockup with a counterattack from IgNar and Contractz, keeping Closer at bay. IgNar's got to be careful now as he flashes away with 300 HP remaining. Palafox with a nice shuffle back onto Busio. FBI takes him down, but it's going to be traded as Palafox falls. Now FBI has to be protected by the rest of his troops, but the Heartbreaker, the playmaker, it's Closer with a double kill on Viego as FBI tries to escape. Closer's got the Spectral Maw and a triple kill for the 100 Thieves jungler.
All 4 kills going to Closer here in the 100 Thieves early game. A massive start after being the target of so much criticism here. Closer stepping up huge against NRG, putting them out to a big early lead. We can see this one more time. That Shock Blast softening up Palafox and FBI, and I think that's what prompts Busio to go into the backline. He hits the 2-man knockup here, but everyone from NRG does try to look to turn on to Closer. Closer gets relatively low. He flashes in right as Quid does, but IgNar is able to respond with that flash himself. Unfortunately, Palafox just narrowly missed out on Doublelift, which allows Doublelift and Closer to actually finish him off as he went in for that shuffle, and then Closer is able to close the gap here, shuffles forward, uses the ulti reset, and then right into the Sejuani body again, uses that ulti to close the gap, hits with the W, hits with the Q, finishes off FBI. It's a triple kill and a Triforce done at 9 minutes here for the Viego.
You said it earlier, man. This is a champion that can totally take over a game of League of Legends with a lead, and 9-minute Trinity Force is absolutely frightening if you're on NRG. They gotta make sure they are focusing this guy in any fight that he shows up in. Ideally, they only want to take fights that he's not there for, but I expect 100 Thieves to be playing around him nonstop now.
It's gonna be really hard, I think, for the NRG side, because you're only a 2-threat team, right? So even if you want to try to burst down Closer, if Busio gets into the backline and is actually just disrupting the damage that FBI and Palafox are doing, you're not going to have a lot of damage coming out. So really, it becomes the job of Ssumday, it becomes the job of Busio to just disrupt the carries, while Quid and Closer and Doublelift all just focus down the other members from NRG, who are going to be somewhat helpless if they don't have that Azir and that Aphelios firing behind them.
Exactly. That's the double-sided there. That's the other side of the coin, excuse me, of having this massive tank line. Okay, you've only got 2 threats, man. Something happens to one of those, all of a sudden the fight's not looking so great anymore. Especially when now his body is possessed by the other dude and he's whooping your ass.
The other team has the front line. That's not fair. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but Closer is now having the start of the game that 100 Thieves fans have been wanting him to have all split long. This is how this team has always looked the best in the past. When Closer gets off to a good start, 100 Thieves can make things happen.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think back to some of the big playoff runs that 100 Thieves have had, it has largely been centered around Closer and him having these massive playoff performances. You know, this is a guy who really can show up. And when he's playing at his absolute best, a lot of people talk about him as the best jungler in the league. When he is on that form, when he's dominating early games on the
Finals
Viego.
MVP tier.
Exactly. Dominating on Viego, dominating on Lee Sin, these kind of early game champs. That's really what people associate with him. But it has been a far cry from what we've seen this split. That being said, hey, if you make it in the playoffs, whether it's 8th place, 7th place, whatever, you've got a shot.
Yeah.
So it's going to matter the form you have on the day, you know, not what you have done the rest of the season. And Closer at least showing us here so far against NRG that he has what it takes to still run over these early games when he finds the angle.
IgNar critically hitting level 6 on this Alistar. He was only level 5 just until this very point. Busio hitting level 6 first meant that any sort of an engage in the 2v2 or 3v3, anything like that down there could have been very dangerous, as Ssumday continues just trying to trade aggressively with Dhokla up here on the top side. I'll be interested to see what the team fights look like once we get the top laners involved in them, because you already said Ssumday's job is going to be to function as a disruptor. Make sure the carries can't focus the targets that they want to focus, put that extra threat on them. But Dhokla with a massive Ornn horn, we have seen entire team fights get shaped by this ability in this champion many times in the past.
Absolutely, especially some of these champions that I think are easier to pick on. You know, there is Cleanse, there is Flash on Doublelift, but Quid, like right now on the Jayce, he's pretty vulnerable, right? He doesn't have an ulti to reposition, he doesn't have a flash right now. If you can catch someone like that and get that first kill on them right off the bat, can definitely be very problematic for that 100 Thieves side. NRG is going to want to try to be first to an objective so they can have that proper setup, they can have that proper vision, but it is 100 Thieves, who has that first setup towards this dragon. They're going to be looking to grab the second dragon here themselves, so Ssumday will take a tower shot on the exit, but should be just fine. NRG preempting the dragon take on the bot side by swapping their bot lane up towards top. They have that Herald, so they want to try to do a trade of first turret for dragon. We'll see if they're going to be able to get it. As Doublelift is rushing out towards top as well to answer. And Busio back to base, so he's going to be heading top as well. And they're just going to swap bot up towards top. I do think Viego should still be able to just solo out this dragon, though, as it spawns.
Yeah, the turret is not going to die. I don't think there's almost no way just because the Herald. Never mind, hold on. They just dove the croc. Now there's nobody defending. It's still going to be some very tanky plates since the Herald was summoned up immediately before the first one even fell. So you're not getting as much value out of that true damage as you could. But hey, they still force down 3. They get the kill. Nice moves from NRG.
Yeah, it's nicely done by them. I do think it's a little bit weird that Closer elected to just go steal Raptors instead of doing the dragon, though, because they had that full setup in bot side, and they know they're swapping top. So it should be a pretty free dragon. He may now go down towards it as Quid looking to answer Dhokla. Is going to be able to clear out this wave, but you want to see them continue to stack that dragons when you get an early one.
Well, Dhokla got knocked back underneath the turret, but now back up in the top side. Hold on, we got 2 different fights going down as NRG tries to make a 3v2 play on Doublelift and Busio, who try to disengage it as Dhokla's going to be jumped on by Ssumday and Quid on the other side of the map. He won't be able to escape because Closer's down here too. NRG still with a 4-man play up in the top side. The plating has fallen. Fell 3 seconds ago. FBI, Contractz, IgNar, and Palafox want to just force this one down. Palafox coming around from the side means Doublelift and Busio cannot do a thing about it. So yes, it's a kill for no kill for the side of 100 Thieves, but the turret means the gold is going to favor NRG in the trade, at least until Ssumday trades the tier 1 back.
Yeah, they do get that first tower, so they are going to be up in the gold even after that tower goes down, at least in that trade, but obviously the kill being factored in as well, as you're saying, will be an advantage for 100 Thieves, and they do get the dragon. So at the end of the day, 14 minutes in, 2 dragons taken. It is Chemtech Soul, not what they wanted, but still out to a good early start here. NRG, though, has clawed their way back. It was nearly a 2,000 gold lead, and it has equalized a fair bit here over these last couple minutes. FBI already has the Kraken Slayer working towards his second item, likely the Gale Force. And Palafox has completed his first item here, but it is the Crown, which is one of those items that does get criticized a tremendous amount. There is a fair bit of poke here, not a massive amount, but if it gets shock blasted off, if it gets hit by a Void Seeker or anything like that, it's going to feel really bad. If it doesn't, then it can be really, really powerful. We've seen it save Azirs in a lot of situations where, if you get hard engaged on and the first thing that hits you is that hard engage coming in from Busio, or a stun from Renekton or whatever, that can actually be game changing. It can really have a lot of value. He's just got to be sure to not get it poked off by a Shiv or some little garbage spell.
Yeah, I can see it being important, especially with the importance on Closer and not allowing him to get the first kill. Palafox, ooh, nicely done from Closer there, using the Heartbreaker to make sure he doesn't get knocked back by the shuffle. They'll collapse on Palafox and blow him up immediately here. Ssumday taking the kill credit, and 100 Thieves picking up a freebie.
Yeah, that was a good kill there. Really nice buffer from Closer. Uses the ulti right as the Azir ult comes out to be able to immune it and get over top. Somebody's there to help secure it, and now it means they're going to get the Herald for sure. Down on bot side, Dhokla bonking away on this one. Will be able to take a tower down himself. The one guy in the audience is really happy about that.
Yeah, so let me ask you, which one's better? Ornn bonking turret or Jax flapping the turret?
I think the bonk is actually a more fun sound.
Yeah, you like the bonk more?
I do
okay.
like the bonk.
All right.
Doesn't usually do a lot, but it's doing his best.
It's exactly. It does enough because for NRG, picking up that turret in the bottom lane, once again, shrank the gold lead back below 1,000. So they're still within striking distance of 100 Thieves lead. They just have to make sure they're not giving Closer these free picks.
Exactly. We'll see if they're going to be able to continue doing that. The gold is close. It is going to come down to team fights for sure in this one. It is just a dragon apiece here. So neither team, really too close to moving towards Soul or anything like that. And generally, these games are just going to be largely about playing around Baron.
Yeah.
Which team can create an advantage in that area? Which team can actually, execute on their engages best and get picks? Because both teams do have really good engage. It's more about Busio over on the 100 Thieves side, but there are many forms of engage here for NRG. There's angles for an Azir shuffle. There's obviously the Ornn, there's the Sejuani ult, there's flash engages from IgNar. We just haven't really seen much of it from NRG because it's been a pretty passive game after that early fight went bad. They've kind of just gone back into the turtle shell and, just chill and farming for late.
Yeah, I feel like NRG definitely has an advantage in terms of engage mechanisms compared to 100 Thieves, who are mostly just kind of looking at that Rakan. But on the other hand, 100 Thieves has some very effective poke tools. If you can land some of those Void Seekers, some of those Shock Blasts onto either Palafox or FBI, probably Palafox more just because of the Shattered Queen like you were talking about, and the fact that Azir doesn't build any kind of lifesteal whatsoever, all of a sudden the fight just becomes unplayable because if Azir gets hit by one Viego, he just dies.
Yeah, it can be really tough. And the amount of poke that a Kai'Sa can put out once you have a few AP items under your belt can get really, really high. But of course, there are a lot of beef boys in the front line there to block that up. So hopefully those guys will be blocking all the Shock Blasts, will be blocking all the Void Seekers, because you've got 3 people to do it, right? So there's not really a huge reason that FBI or Palafox should be getting tagged by very many of those. But we're just going to continue playing through sides. You can see 100 Thieves down towards bot and top, trying to get the waves pushed in the right direction. Once you get those waves pushed, you can move up towards the rest of your team. You know, Ornn had actually pushed out bot, so then he used that timer to move towards mid, grouped up with the team. There was nothing there, so now he's heading back towards bot to catch that wave. And we're just going to kind of see that rinse and repeat. Every time you get a wave pushing in your direction, you have a time to actually group with your team and look for a play. But both teams, of course, are aware of this and are going to be playing around it. So, you know, now we see Ssumday again heading back towards bot as Dhokla pushed one wave, but it's just going to be kind of this back and forth. And that's, you know, generally what you end up doing in these kind of more, I don't know what you want to call it, like stalemate, neutral map type situations.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of push and pull. You're trying to find timers once you have that wave moving in your direction.
Also worth pointing out the extra importance. Hold on now. Dhokla trying to get away there as 100 Thieves send 3 dudes after him. Herald summoned up mid lane. It's going to get the charge, but no additional damage. That mid lane tier 1 having taken almost no damage before this point means that it's still not low enough for 100 Thieves to try to make some sort of a force play. They do have control over the bot side river now with only 15 seconds until that next Drake spawns. I would expect them to be able to take this one. I think if you're NRG, you're probably looking at a game state where you're a little bit behind, and it's still probably enough to say, hey, the one Kimtech Drake isn't really worth potentially throwing the entire possibility of an even fight away with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said it. This is to try to secure upper bracket for themselves. So it is a really big win for NRG if they can get it. 100 Thieves likely will be gifted this dragon. And also just because it's Chemtech, people don't really care about giving away the individual Chemtech dragons. And generally, they're more likely to be willing to just give up a dragon or two to try to trade for gold elsewhere on the map. Of course, there's not much of a trade to happen here, but we're going to kind of move into the next stage of the game pretty shortly, as Closer will claim this, and then Baron's going to be spawning, and it's going to be about battling for vision up around that top side. As you can see, neither team has really gotten much deep vision. It's mostly been about this defensive line. You know, you can see on this side, NRG kind of has some defensive wards. You know, and on the other side, it's very similar kind of across the map here. 400 Thieves. You know, there's the one lone ward really from either team that is cross mid-map. So it's going to be about, you know, just trying to get down this vision, playing around your support jungle duo, and looking to punish anyone who's encroaching too far into your territory.
FBI's health bar, you can see chunked about a third there. That was one accelerated shock blast from Quid, and that's what we're talking about. If they can hit the poke on the Azir or on the Aphelios, that's 100 Thieves' recipe for success. Especially, boom, there's another one. 2 accelerated shock blasts, the dude's almost dead.
And we'll see if they can actually, you know, push the pace here to get more done in these next little kind of windows. Because I do think, because it is both a Jayce and a Kai'Sa, you just go Bloodthirster third, and then you kind of stop caring about it, right? So then it becomes, now you have to hit only Azir, right? And if everyone's grouped up and there's 3 guys in front of them, it becomes really, really difficult to land that poke. Sure, if there's nothing around to lifesteal for FBI, then you can still punish him, but I am expecting him to go BT third to deal with that poke, because that seems to be the meta these days. He's also playing Overheal and Legend Bloodline, so gonna get even more value from that Bloodthirster.
And I think as the game goes on, you're also going to see an increased weighting towards the value of Doublelift's poke specifically, just because of the fact that everybody else on his team is a strictly physical damage threat. So you can see 2 Sunfire Capes already up for the side of NRG. I know they're going to, or Sunfire Cape #1 completed, the second one being built there by the Sejuani, but they're going to keep stacking towards this armor because it's so effective versus most of the threats on the side of 100 Thieves. So the Void Seeker accuracy for Doublelift is paramount here.
Absolutely. I mean, there's 3 pairs of tabbies, there's a Bramble Vest in there, so there's going to be a lot of armor, right? So if you are that solo AP threat, you have to have a good game. You have to make sure that you really are on point. You're not only just with poking with those Void Seekers, but in the 5v5s, it becomes so incredibly important. As Closer just looking to poke and prod away here, will obviously win out in these little trades against Contractz, but Ssumday has pushed on bot side. We'll see if they can do anything with this. Both top laners do have TP. And Dhokla giving about as good as he took there, so it's not going to be a massive advantage on either side, but he will have push on the side of 100 Thieves, and that's going to give him the ability to maybe move for a wave towards the team.
Oh, nice potential catch coming out from NRG, but the disengage from 100 Thieves to get themselves away. Now IgNar has to pop the ulti to make sure he doesn't die from the 100 Thieves counterattack. Dhokla's got the Ornn horn. No value comes from it, though. Ssumday showing up now with a TP of his own. NRG used a lot of ultis there. Everybody except for Palafox used ult. 100 Thieves still has all of them. IgNar gets jumped on. Closer flashes over the wall. There's the polarize into the headbutt to get himself away, but IgNar's still going to drop. It's Busio taking it as Closer steals the body, and NRG again lose a fight.
Nicely done. They're able to actually chase down and kill off this Alistar, and now it's a difficult approach here for NRG. They don't have no vision. They don't know which brushes are actually having those flankers in him. Busio's coming from top. Quid has been spotted, though. Palafox is looking for him.
Palafox shuffles back Quid. It looked like it missed originally, but then no, I don't know what's going on with that. 100 Thieves coming in for the counterattack now as NRG gets locked down. Closer going in for FBI, and he finds him. Now he's ready to steal the body as NRG heads for the hills. Contractz is focused next. Closer chases after him. Arctic Assault back over the wall, but Closer is ready to chase the remaining players. He's looking for Dhokla, and with the Void Seeker getting him so very low, Closer should be able to finish this one off. Dhokla trying to get out. He's running as fast as he can. Contractz wants to get up here and help him, but now Palafox is stuck underneath the sun disc, and it will not save him today.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Closer gonna get spotted just walking by Contractz. They will not be going towards the Baron because they were pretty low. But yeah, Quid actually avoided the Azir ult and then just flashed in to die. That was, I think it had to be a misclick from Quid. He ended up giving his life pretty much for free, but then the rest of 100 Thieves swoop in. They're able to win that team fight regardless, as I guess we're gonna listen to the comms.
Aphelios. Yeah, anyone. No flash Aphelios. Anyone. Keep chase up. W2. No play. Yeah. Not letting Sej get out. Oh, okay. Here. Keep chasing. No place.
Iron's out.
If I get one reset, it's... Keep going. I get mana here.
Closer through the mist right in front of him. It didn't hit the terrain. He didn't have the haste from the mist while walking around. I think he might have been able to pick up that extra kill if he had the mist speed bonus.
Yeah, it can be those small things that can make the difference in a fight like that. Obviously, we joined that replay slightly after Quid had died, but they are able to win out in that fight, and it's just back towards live, back towards fighting around this Baron area. You see that Palafox there took a Void Seeker, so he's now lost that Crown of the Shattered Queen. Okay. Which does mean he doesn't have that, and any potential engage on him becomes that much more frightening. He has to play with these frontliners in between him and the poke. He can't be getting that poked off.
NRG with all those ultis back up again. 100 Thieves wants to try to find this poke. Void Seeker and Accelerated Shock Blast both hit Dhokla, but the Ornn is very, very tanky here. FBI with a red gun can also heal off a lot of the poke that they might be able to land onto him. NRG definitely playing from a position of vulnerability here. They know that if they have any more fights go pretty sour like that last one did, all of a sudden their backs could be up against the wall, requiring a mistake from 100 Thieves.
And look at IgNar. He's lost half his health. Palafox was playing pretty far back, wanted his crown to be back and active. It is now active. But he has to go up towards top to actually catch that wave. There's waves pushing in on both sides. 400 Thieves is a big wave down on bot. This wave now is pushing out towards the 100 Thieves side, so NRG will be able to group back up as Palafox comes back down. IgNar was able to go into the enemy jungle and get actually some honey fruit, it looked like. But 100 Thieves now are just going to actually start up the Baron here. It's spotted, though, and Busio is also spotted on the flank, so this is going to be a tough take.
All right, they see Busio. They zone him back away, but NRG's still got to be careful here. Oh, the Glacial Prison from Contractz doesn't connect onto anybody. NRG's going to want that one back. Baron still aggroed by Closer, down to about half HP. FBI looking for a little bit of damage over the wall here with the turret, plus the long-range power of the Calibrum means Closer's now down to 1/3, and with that fed Viego low, 100 Thieves has to back away.
Yeah, they are going to pull back off of it. It's starting to feel like 100 Thieves are really feeling a bit of pressure. They're staying around that Baron so long. They're trying to make something happen there. Aren't really sure, I think, how else to play out this game. So they're just trying to force NRG to come in and look for a fight, and Closer stepping forward, but IgNar's going in.
IgNar finds a knockup on him, but there's no follow-up here. FBI was so low that NRG was prioritizing making sure their carry doesn't get one shot. So now 100 Thieves have control over the mid lane, priority over the bot side river, and they should be able to pick up this Dragon Soul point.
How are going to be able to grab that Dragon? A bit of an aggressive play there from IgNar. Did you catch if that was his Hex Flash or his actual flash as he came out of that brush?
I did not see.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So maybe we can get a confirmation on that. If it was a Hex Flash, obviously it's not a big deal. Okay, so it was just Hex Flash. His real flash just came back up,
okay,
as we can see on the Spectator client. So at first I thought he actually used his real flash. I was like, wow, that was aggressive. But it is going to be Bloodthirster third here for FBI, so he's working towards that. You can see third item starting to come in from both sides. Doublelift going to be working towards a Rage Blade. There's a lot of frontliners to work through here, so I do think it makes sense. Obviously has both armor and a magic pen on it, which can be quite nice. And as long as he's able to actually get some auto attacks out, there is a lot of value from that. Obviously, it is a trade-off. Your poke's going to be a bit worse compared to that Luden's build, but I do think it's worthwhile if you're going to be free-firing on those frontliners.
Dhokla level 14 starting to upgrade some items here too. Contractz needs to be careful because 100 Thieves is sending everything at the enemy jungler when they found him. Now Busio's ready to collapse and FBI explodes. NRG are caught with their pants down in their own jungle, and it's 100 Thieves picking up 2 for free. I think the Baron's about to go with it.
I think so too. Dhokla's not even going to bother coming. There's no way they can actually steal this. IgNar and Palafox were around, so I think it gave them a bit of a false sense of security as they moved in onto Contractz. Doublelift commits the ult, is able to follow through. They get that first kill, and FBI was coming to try to defend his jungler. I think expected the rest of the squad to come as well, but he just goes down in the process also, and now Palafox commits the TP down towards bot side, so they trade a tier 2 down towards bot, but it does cost them the teleport. They're able to get a jungle camp out of this, but they've got to be somewhat careful. They are spotted, I think, likely by that Void Seeker. It gives a little bit of vision around it. Now it's a 5k lead here, 400 Thieves, and they're 1 dragon away from Soul, and getting very close to securing their playoff spot and eliminating FlyQuest in the process.
Yeah, 100 Thieves playing like a squad that wants that playoffs ticket. And yeah, they just know how much damage they have and immediately explode Contractz. Then FBI, just way too close.
Yeah, I mean, he was walking up to try to peel. Quid just ran past the tier 1 mid, though. He just ran right past it. I don't think he was expecting him to be there. And that Shock Blast really starting to do some damage. You can see it pokes off the crown, but it gets about 20-30% off IgNar as well. And now the waves pushing in mid, pushing in bot. Busio clearing out vision, wanting to bounce between these 2 waves. It's going to be pretty difficult here for NRG. No one is answering mid. Someone's going to have to get back there, and as they do, they can start to threaten the dive on this bot side. So it's going to be tough.
Dhokla's deciding to sound the Ornn horn, goes for the flash engage to follow up on Doublelift here, but they will not get him. Now Dhokla's got to be careful about his own health bar as Quid disengages further. Closer on the side, just providing enough threat for NRG to be afraid to push forward. 100 Thieves stop the NRG play in its tracks. They don't even need Ssumday to do it. He's still back in mid lane, pushing up another wave.
They're able to get away. It does cost them the flash of Doublelift, though, so we'll see if NRG can make them pay for that, because you look at some of the playmaking tools. There's flash for IgNar, there's flash for Palafox, so if you could catch that Kai'Sa, it could give you a window to turn the game around, and I think that is what NRG is going to be depending on after that fight did not go their way. They weren't able to get the kills they wanted. You've got to depend on those missing summoners. FBI getting tagged, though, taking so much damage. Still doesn't have the full BT completed. I think he's likely going to have gold here pretty shortly when he goes back to base. But if they can hang on, there is always a shot.
It feels like the walls are tumbling down around NRG, though. 6,500 gold lead with themselves already being on soul point. 45 more seconds of Baron, minute and 45 until that Drake would spawn. 100 Thieves are set up in a great position to win this game and lock that playoff spot. Dhokla wants to try to jump in and keep these guys away from the tier 2 turret, but it's already about to fall. Now Ssumday jumps in with a stun on the Contractz, but they cannot quite full commit onto the Sejuani with everybody else from NRG still there. So that'll be all that 100 Thieves get for now. Only 25 seconds left in the Baron, so this reset will be the end of the Baron power play, plus 3,400 gold.
And so much gold was actually in pocket as they go back. There was about 2k for Ssumday. There was around 2k for Doublelift and Quid as well to spend up. So you're seeing a lot of item completions coming through. We saw Death Stand spot up. We have third item completed for Quid, third item completed for Doublelift, and Mikhail's came through for Busio. So a lot of these win conditions are starting to go away. You're hoping for things like that great Sejuani ult onto a carry, but now there's the Mikhail's to answer. There's also already that cleanse to answer there, and you start hitting this point where the luxury items come through. Now all of a sudden, even if you kill closer, he's got a GA. There's a stopwatch on Ssumday. These are the things that really make it hard to find a comeback, even if you get that perfect fight.
And when you're looking at FBI and Palafox, again, back to the fact that this is a 2-threat composition. If these 2 are not present, there is no damage to get a kill. 0, 4, and 2 on the Azir, 1, 3, and 1 on the Aphelios. Honestly, neither one of the NRG carries having a very good game in this one, and it's hard to see ways for them back in that don't involve a massive 100 Thieves error.
I mean, I agree. You know, one of the small lights at the end of the tunnel, I guess, is all these Ornn upgrades that are coming through. You know, it is a nice bit of stats that are being kind of injected into the team. Obviously, Ornn upgrade is already through for himself. It's through for both of those carries that you pointed out. So they're going to have, you know, a nice little injection of stats. So the gold lead isn't quite as bad as you would think. but they definitely don't want to give up this soul, and we'll see if NRG can play through mid. They're trying to push out mid. They're trying to get pressure here, and they're going to try to use their tanks to actually march in through river. But look at Doublelift and Quid. It's just this firing line off to the side, tagging them constantly.
Oh, but they hit Closer with
Gales.
some CC from Sejuani. McHale's immediately ready to go. Busio's got it covered, and Closer doesn't even lose half his HP. IgNar's the one who's worse for wear as the poke continues flying out from the Thieves, but Dhokla's ready to sound the Ornn. Quid has to flash away. Contractz leads the charge, and Dhokla's ready to follow up. Quid is low, but he ain't down yet. Palafox swoops in to grab the kill. Now FBI's firing onto Ssumday. Closer still off to the side. The Viego is the X factor, and NRG knows it. Contractz jumps in on him. They find the stun, but again, a beautiful buffer through the Heartbreaker to get himself out of the CC. Keeps Closer safe. Now, NRG's starting up the Drake themselves. They don't want to give away the soul at this point in time. They need to try to continue something from this advantage that they earned by killing the enemy mid. It's 30 seconds on Quid. Their objective bounty secured for NRG.
Yeah, I think it's the right call from this position. If you try to fight that with no ulti on Closer, with him already low, you're likely just going to end the fight and give away your position in this game. So I think the initial part of the play was really good from 100 Thieves. They had Quid and Doublelift in a good spot, finding a lot of these angles. Quid is able to flash out from that Ornn, but they just kind of pile in on top of him. You can see that Busio was coming in with a good counter engage, but Ssumday is kind of separated so much from the team that he's never really involved, and I think that's part of the problem. As 100 Thieves are scattering in all directions, you can see Closer up here, Busio and Doublelift down here, Ssumday down here. No one is together, and it's making it really, really difficult for them to actually have that proper pincer play that they were looking for. When teams are setting up for flanks, the best thing you can often do is preempt the play, attack one side with all of your members, and that's exactly what NRG did. They didn't allow 100 Thieves to buy that time, to have Ssumday coming in right as Busio engages. They say, no, you don't get that time. We're just going to go.
Ooh, Contractz tried to swoop in there and find the Glacial Prison, but he misses Closer. So that means that NRG aren't going to have that tool here for another 60 seconds.
And that's why they were forcing right there, because they were tracking McHale's, and McHale's was up in about 10-15 seconds. And that's one of those things where they have to go right on cooldown, because McHale's is that additional complexity now to this game. You can see the cooldown came right up, so you're probably saying, well, why did you force that? That looked kind of garbage. But it's because he knows if he waits 10 seconds, McHale's is there to answer, and now NRG feeling the pressure, they're going to have to turn with the Ornn.
NRG's starting up the Baron. They got it down to 3K. They're just going to commit for the stolen away by Closer. Another beautiful play. And now NRG's got to try to fight back, but they've already lost FBI. They've lost Palafox. They've lost the game. 100 Thieves took the objective and took the fight, and they're about to take themselves straight to the playoffs.
100 Thieves pull it off. They're going to take down NRG here. Ssumday's already TP'd down towards bot side. They are going to secure their spot here in playoffs and knock FlyQuest out in the process.
Closer with a redemption game. 10 out of 15 kill participation here on the Viego. He started the game off with his first blood of the split. He had all of the kills there at the start. He never died a single time, and he stole the Baron to win the games and clinch the playoff spot for 100 Thieves.
My man just spent the whole split powering up for this one game. It's like 15 straight episodes.
And then finally, we get the season finale.
The season finale here for 100 Thieves is the Spirit Bomb from Closer, and he let it rip on NRG. Just went off in this game, gets that early first blood, gets a double scuttle on his first clear. They have that one big skirmish where he picks up a triple. All of a sudden, he's got 4 straight kills for the team. It was a great performance from Closer. That Baron steal sealing the deal as NRG was really feeling the pressure, felt they had to force something, and 100 Thieves made them pay.
Multiple good decisions made by Closer. Also multiple good executions just in those micro moments. The different times that we saw him use the Heartbreaker to properly buffer through the CC. Yeah. Top side against the potential Azir catch. Bottom side when it looked like he was going to get collapsed on and lose the GA for free. He manages to get both the micro and the macro down in a way that we have not seen this guy do much so far in Summer Split, and he did it when he needed to.
Absolutely. It was a really good game here from 100 Thieves, and we're going to be joining Mark on stage alongside Closer for our Verizon postgame interview.
Thank you very much, Azael. I'm standing by with Closer, who just clinched playoffs for his team. How do you feel after that?
I feel relieved. There was a lot of pressure on myself and our team, and we had to win this game. And NRG was looking very good till now, but I knew we can beat them, so I feel very happy now.
Yeah, you had a huge performance individually as well this game, picking up a ton of kills in the early game. The Baron steal, were you at all nervous because they took so much scaling into your comp? You had that slight stumble around your 4th dragon. How are you feeling in those last couple moments?
I was just thinking all the time how we're gonna win the next thing and what we should do next. I wasn't really nervous, but yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Was this a belated birthday gift to Doublelift? He turned 30 yesterday, but unfortunately you guys weren't able to find the win. Was this like your makeup?
Yeah, let's say this was our birthday gift. Yeah, let's make it that way.
Okay, one question I have is, I don't know if you follow the community conversation at all, but you're someone who people have been expecting more out of a bit recently, given that you've had these insane highs, and this was, I don't know if you heard, but I think your first blood this split. How have you felt personally with this season? Do you feel like you're ramping up for playoffs?
Listen to me. I don't care about stats. I don't care about fans or haters. I know what I'm capable of and what my team is capable of. So I'm just gonna focus on improving every day, and we will see at playoffs.
Sweet. Thank you so much for the interview, Closer. Congrats on the win again. Congrats on the player of the game, by the way. You did end up picking that one up. Thank you so much, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
I wore red for
IgNar's got to be careful now as he flashes away with 300 HP remaining. Palafox with a nice shuffle back into Busio. FBI takes him down, but it's going to be traded as Palafox falls. Now FBI has to be protected by the rest of his troops, but the Heartbreaker, the playmaker, it's Closer with a double kill on Viego as FBI tries to escape. Closer's got the Spectral Maw and a triple kill for the 100 Thieves junglers. Dhokla level 14 starting to upgrade some items here too. Contractz needs to be careful because 100 Thieves is sending everything at the enemy jungler when they found him. Now Busio's ready to collapse and FBI explodes. NRG are caught with their pants down in their own jungle, and it's 100 Thieves picking up 2 for free. I think the Baron's about to go with it.
With Verizon's new My Plan, I get exactly what I want and only pay for what I need.
Now I'm in charge of my plan.
Introducing My Plan from Verizon. You get exactly what you want and only pay for what you need. And it all starts at just $30. It's your Verizon.
Who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
Typical beginner's mistake.
Yes, they all start from the outside.
So, will we help him?
What else? Here, try it with Red Bull.
Red Bull gives you wings.
which champion